On Friday, Italy reported there were 250 people who died just in a 24-hour period. And according to the New York Times, there's a Seattle area hospital that sent a memo out saying, quote, our local COVID-19 trajectory is likely to be similar to that of northern Italy. Is that what you're expecting?
No, if we do not successfully do what I just said, prevent infections from coming in and dealing with the ones we have, this is a bad virus. Certainly, it is conceivable that if we don't do that, you could get as bad as Italy. But I don't think we're going there if we do the kinds of things that we are publicly saying we need to do. We need to be very serious about, for a while, life is not going to be the way it used to be in the United States. We have to just accept that if we want to do what's best for the American public.
To that point, in cities all over the country, bars and restaurants have been packed with people. This was the case last night. Right. This was the case in many places in Washington, D.C. And a new study suggests that it's young Americans who aren't really showing the symptoms that could really be spreading this and putting older Americans in jeopardy, more so than we realized. Would you like to see a national lockdown? Basically, people, you can't go out to restaurants, bars. You need to stay home?
Well, I would like to see a dramatic diminution of the personal interaction that we see in restaurants and in bars. Whatever it takes to do that, that's what I'd like to see.
Okay, and for younger people, maybe they're not as concerned, but in France, 300 of the most critical patients, half of them are actually under 50. So understandably, we're focused on the elderly, but should younger people actually be more concerned too?
Younger people should be concerned for two reasons. You are not immune or safe from getting seriously ill, even though when you look at the total numbers, it's overwhelmingly weighted towards the elderly and those with underlying conditions. But the virus isn't a mathematical formula. There are going to be people who are young who are going to wind up getting seriously ill. So protect yourself. But remember, you could also be a vector or a carrier. And even though you don't get seriously ill, you could bring it to a person who would bring it to a person that would bring it to your grandfather, your grandmother, or your elderly relative. That's why everybody's got to take this seriously, even the young.
You said lessening of social interaction. Well, let's take a look at these pictures, actually, of Americans trying to get back into the country from Europe last night. I mean, we've seen these images at a number of airports, crowded lines for health screenings. What is your first thought when you see that?
That unfortunate that that's not what we like to see. But human nature is human nature. People should realize if you are an American citizen, if you are a permanent resident, if you are a relative, you can get back into the country. You don't need to get back right now. You can pace getting back. But we're all humans. We all are afraid. I mean, and it's understandable. I'm not criticizing it. Somehow we need to mitigate that because putting people in crowds like that is not helpful.
Should they be spaced? Should officials be spacing them better in these situations? If you can
possibly, I mean, I'm not going to make policy here with you, but if you can possibly lessen that crowding one way or the other, we should do it.